Hello everyone and welcome back to Cities Skylines. Now this city does finally have a name. It didn't have a name in the first episode, but now I have settled on Emerald Delta. Now it is a very simple name. This is being built on the Starfort Delta map, as I mentioned in the previous video, and obviously I am the Emerald Gamer. Mash the two together, you get Emerald Delta. Literally nothing complicated. I have also named the starting town that we built in the last episode as Willow. Again, really simple premise. The town park that we made in the first episode was called Willow Town Park. May as well make it the name of the town so it makes sense. Again, very simple. But in today's video, I want to move on to building over here and our first starting industry of this series. I have already set up the industrial area and some road networks and power lines, hopefully. And I'm hoping that this starting farming area will make us a lot of money as quickly as possible, because I do need a lot of money to do the projects that I do have planned. In today's video, I also want to come over here and start working on the city park that I mentioned at the last episode, all the way along here, along this riverfront. But this section over here, I also want to leave for a transport hub / pedestrianised shopping area, simply because, as I mentioned in the last video, our main city, our downtown if you will, is going to be built over here on this part of the map, and this main road is going to be one of the feeders into that city, so it makes sense to build our first transport hub right here. And I do also want to expand the size of this city, getting this extra tile so that we can start bringing in some more population. But first, we're going to start off by building our farming area, using, of course, the farm main building. And I'm going to place it opposite this custom one that was already placed in, this small abandoned one, with the premise of this being the original farmhouse. And then they later built in another one later on when the farm expanded into what it is today. And what I want to do is just place the fields either side of this starting area, and for this small gap I think I'm going to bring in a small little pathway just so that we have this sort of bit here for a little bit of detailing, sort of like a farm track if you will. Now that is already all of our money blown through, and this video is going to be quite a while to make just because money is going to be pretty tight, I'd say, until we reach maybe a level 3 industry. Now I'm planning on bringing this road up here, and we do need to bring in an animal pasture which costs 7,500 I believe. Now the way this video is going to work is it's going to be a lot of jumping between clips, because we have to wait for these industries to level up, which obviously for level 2 requires 150 workers and 5,000 resources. So we have to build quite a few farm buildings, which costs quite a lot of money. And I'm also going to reform how this area looks later once we've unlocked more processing sort of units that come with the farm, and rebuild this as an actual good processing area. The only problem is we do not have much money, and I have both loans taken out right now that we have access to. We don't get this one until 22,000 people, and we're only at just under 3,000. So what I'm going to do is have to wait quite a long time to make some money, but in the meantime we may as well jump over and start working on sort of like where we're going to have this park coming along. I wanted to just follow these sort of roads, not very well connected, and just come along, as I mentioned, this riverbed here. And I want this to be quite a large park, one that really brings in the entire Parklife DLC, simply because this park is not big enough to get to level 5, but this one certainly will be. And I really want to look into how to make this look as nice as possible. Without further ado though, I'm going to try to get up to a level 2 park as quick, not level 2 park, level 2 farm as quickly as possible, so we can jump over and start working on the main profit side of this build. Okay, so we have now reached a level 2 farm, which means we can go over to the other side of the road and start working on our main farming processing area, which is currently this temporary arrangement right here. The only problem is I don't quite have enough money to be comfortable with what I am planning on doing, because right now we have this very simple grid system that is based off of this roundabout. However, I want to bring a bridge over the main road purely because the traffic going between the farm and the processing area is going to be absolutely immense. But I do not want that clogging up this main roundabout, especially since there's a main through road into the central city later on. So I will be getting a bridge over the top to connect the two. And I have to rearrange this entire area, which I do not have anywhere near enough money for, especially because these things are so expensive. That's 15,000, that's 12,000, and the unique factory is 20,000. So I do have nowhere near enough money. So what I'm going to do is actually jump down here and start working on our park area on this side of the river. And I'm going to place it opposite this pathway because this is a very busy path. And I think having the main gates in will work a lot better. Now, that is not centralized with the path at all. And I don't think it will be. If I place it this side, it might be. That's a little bit more central. And what I want to do is have a more natural sort of quayside coming along. I'm going to use one of the content creator ones from the Bridges and Piers content creator pack, I believe. That is a really good one. And I definitely recommend you guys getting it if you want to build with the keys. I think I'm going to bring in the simple city key. Or should I bring in this one? Let's do simple city key. And I'm just going to go into freeform and make it so this just wraps around our little area that we are going to be using for this park. Now that is a little bit annoying. It doesn't quite register as a shoreline. Now the keys can be quite difficult to sort of build with, especially in unmodded City Skylines. They do have a tendency to really mess up the way that your paths work. And I do just have to get rid of these little bits that are jutting out, just so this matches better with what we are going for, with this city key being the actual boundary to the river. And I think that is everywhere except down here. So with this main city key being built here, again, just got to get it so it actually looks like it's supposed to be there. What I want to be able to do is have a path connecting to it, because I'm pretty sure people can actually walk on this pathway. Yeah, it doesn't have a pedestrian path on it. So I want to get the actual path of this main path for the park to connect. Oh, no, that is a bridge to connect to the quay, which is like that. And hopefully I can get this to be more straight. Okay, so that works. And then this along here can be a really good thing that runs all the way through the river for the entirety of the park and the city. And what I want to do is create a simple sort of intersection here. I'll just do it with straight lines for now, just because I want to focus our central park right here with the park plaza and the info booth here as well, just so we have that very basic sort of squared off area. And I think I want to bring a cafe a bit closer to the quayside, just so they have the view of the river over to the farms. And I'm pretty sure we're far enough away from the actual industrial area for that to make sense. And a chessboard, that came with level 2. This park over here upgraded to level 2. That's probably as far as I'm going to go, so I may as well just place the chessboard there. That's as far as this park's going to go. The rest of the progression is going to be here. And I sort of want to build a sort of kids area, because obviously we have a climbing frame and a trampoline park that comes with the game later. And if I remember correctly, we have these here, the parks here, this is the large playground, which actually has pathway attachments to it. So we'd be able to connect the two together. So this actually becomes the same sort of park area. And I guess there'll be more free ways to enter the park. which might hinder the amount of guests that are registered here. That should be fine. I think maybe place down the chessboard at the back of this. If we place that down there, then that whole sort of section sort of looks as if it's meant to be sort of like the play park area. Now, this is a very temporary arrangement, and we will be expanding on this again as this park levels up. Let's put that up to $15. This will probably take longer to level up than the farming area, simply because it requires on visitors coming through, and I don't think there's quite enough sort of people walking down this road to go to this park yet. But now we do have $30,000. I want to come over here and start working on this main bridge and new industrial unit. So what I want to do is I want a steady gradient. So on the snapping, you can change the elevation step, and I want that to be minimal so that we can get a pretty good sort of gradient. Hopefully, we have enough room for it. We don't quite. So I might have to do it. So we do this with a 5-step or a 6. Do a 6-step for each one. That is the 5. To tell when it's 5 is when the second boundary comes up. That's how you can tell that it becomes a 5-step. And obviously we want it to be a 6. And then do that again one more. That's turn off the snapping to the road guidelines. They can always be very annoying. That's 5, 6. So you only ever need it to be 3 of these mini steps up for it to cross over a road. And then bring it down. I'll bring it down 5 on this side, just make it a little bit steeper on the way out. And now what we have to do is the very, very expensive bit. We have to clear out all of this, which is going to cost us a lot of money. And we do also have to move all of these around. So I probably should build a temporary sort of arrangement. I'm probably going to build it out of dirt roads just so we get enough, just so we get enough money to be able to build what we need to build. So for now, I'm just rearranging it. We don't have enough money to place anything else down. I'm going to take out the loan. That boosts us back up to 35,000, which is perfect because that's probably all the money we're going to be able to spend. Bring that down to the ground. Okay, so now we have this connected properly. What I want to do is, okay, I'm going to move these over. I'm going to keep this paused because this will absolutely destroy the city the way it currently is. What is that? Is that the police station? It's a fire safety center. Okay. And I think I might build in a small little roundabout. So we have to go back into this just so we can move these guys away for this roundabout, because these guys are going to definitely be in the way. Can I move this as well? No, I move it there and that won't be in the way anymore. Okay, so small roundabout, probably 5. We'll go for a 5x5 roundabout. I think right now we only need 2 lanes. I'll expand it later. So 2 lanes, curved. And let's again do it 5, just so it's big enough without being too massive. And connect this all correctly. Now we do want to reinforce it with dirt roads just so the frame doesn't change when we build roads off of it. And I want to use the industrial roads for this bit because this is the main processing plant. So off here we can put in our services again. So place that down, power stations, make sure everything works the way it's supposed to be. Get the power line to jump across. I want it to be a straight line, just so that doesn't all fall apart. And then we'll also put garbage processing on a side road. And this should make it so everything doesn't, so the city sort of keeps it the way it needs to be. And that is the problem that I was worried of facing. We have run out of money. Okay, so hopefully we haven't got too much of a problem. I think this should be enough to keep the city working, hopefully. If not, we are in deep trouble for a while because we cannot pay off any of these loans. But it should hopefully be enough. Just make sure this gets water so it can actually function. And actually, this is not enough. We have to make sure that they can actually access it. So bring a road off of here and connect it like that. Or do I want to connect it? Hopefully this... Oh, that's annoying. This should work, maybe? That's enough. Okay, just so they can get across properly for now. I might have to bring them in here later. Right now, we need to get some more money, and hopefully that industry wasn't contributing too much. I'm going to place down some temporarily, just to try and get our money to go up a little bit. But this isn't going very well at all. So now that we have our money back, what I did was just place down a load of temporary farming along here to try and get the money back up. We can now start placing down some of the farming assets. Now, I do want to place down the bakery, but what I want to place down first is actually the flour mill. Just so, because you need the flour mill for the bakery to be able to work. And I want this to be on the main road. Unfortunately, these sort of sides here are actually perfect for the flour mill. And I want to have the grain silos facing onto this main road. Now, we are going to place multiple of these to increase the amount of money that they can make. But that is a good start for now. And I'm going to place some industry right opposite it, just because we have such a high demand right now. And then we're going to place our bakery on this main road here, just so it can actually be seen by the road as you're going into the main city. And that is all our money gone instantly. But I'm going to take the production rate up to 150%, just so we can increase production and make some more money off of these things. Now, I am also just going to clear up this temporary industry, I think, at least on this side, just because we don't really need it anymore, and then place it back down here where it is supposed to be. Now, money, again, is still pretty tight right now. It won't be soon. These unique factories can make a lot of money once they start working properly, but that is quite a fair time away, and we have not got any power for the city. That is not good at all. Okay, let's just get the power lines back up and running. I completely forgot to replace them after we demolished the entire industrial unit. So now those guys should be back to normal. And how is this park doing? I haven't actually checked yet. So yeah, this park does take a very long time to level up, purely because it needs 500 visitors. And that shop there is absolutely ugly. I'm going to get rid of that. I have actually stopped looking after the shops on the main high street, which means they have leveled up without me wanting them to. But I think those two are okay. Just need to make sure I haven't done that anywhere else. I think I did it over here, but I'm okay with that being there. And these are obviously the fire station. I don't think anywhere else has had a problem. That one did, but that's not too much of a problem. That's advertising Cities Skylines 2, isn't it? That asset is advertising Cities Skylines 2. I still don't have Cities Skylines 2. As you guys know, I'm on PlayStation. I have still not got access to Cities Skylines 2. It's been 2 years now. That is why I'm actually making this series. I just had enough of waiting, and I'm just going to make series until they release Cities Skylines 2. That was a whole rant I had in a video that I haven't actually ever released because of how much of a rant I went on about that. So I'm going to increase the amount of farmland that we have. This is a quite compact sort of farm. I wanted to stay like this. I think what I might do, though, is I'm going to move this apple farm like just across by one, just so we can bring in these dirt pathways that I mentioned. And I think I might actually do it differently, so that you're going to have water, so just drag water along this road. I'm going to put another grain silo right in the middle here. I think that'll be a very cool sort of asset. This farm is looking very compact. I'm absolutely loving it. And I think throwing in these small little pockets of the generic agricultural industry really helps bring this whole thing to life. I don't want these sort of factory things. These are really ugly assets. But these ones here, the small little fields, are absolutely perfect for this build and bring the entire thing together. So where did I place down that field? I placed it down on this side, I believe. So that means what I'm going to do is, these are 8 across, I believe. So that's 4. That would be 8. What I'm doing along this main road is placing them down these fruit fields and making them as greenhouses, just because we have that more industrial feel going down this main road. I'll have it again on this side as well, once we've cleared off all this extra agricultural generic industry. And do we have enough space to fit in a farm there? We do. We don't have enough money right now. But once we get a few more $1,000, that should be enough. We'll move that one there for now, and I'm going to turn that into... Should we do wheat? I'm doing quite a lot of wheat here at the moment, aren't I? Might do something else. Let's do potatoes instead. And then I'll place down another sort of fruit field on this side so we can continue that sight line of the greenhouses. Now, how expensive are the farm work? Before I do any more, how close are we to the next level up? We've got the resources. We do need a lot more workers. That is the main problem. Even these industrial units need more workers. Can I take out a loan? I can't. So I'm going to try work towards level 3. But if we can't make it, I am going to need to get a lot more money, a ton more money, so that we can expand our city boundaries, get this zone over here, this tile here, and start working towards the downtown. Or I might start work, actually, on the area here that I was talking about, maybe, just so we can get a little bit more housing in without having to take out that extra tile. I'm saving this area over here for, again, another build, which I'm hoping to do in the next episode. With this sort of lake here, I want to turn this into a nature reserve, and then using the hotels DLC, we can place down a few of the more natural-based hotels to make quite a bit of profit off of hotels. They do make a lot. In my private city, they make $55,000 a week. They're a massive contributor to the economy of that city. And I want that to be the same scenario here, but we haven't actually got a money issue, I don't think. So I can place down this next farm here. And I think I can also go on to placing down another flour mill, because it does seem that we need one. They don't really seem to have flour or animal. Right, so we do want to get another pasture, I'm going to say, which would be... We get the bigger one at level 5. So I'll place another one down there, because we definitely do have enough crops going for us right now. What we need is to increase what is used for this bakery. And I think the best way to do that is using the warehouses, which are very expensive. Maybe I can use the cheaper ones. How expensive are these ones? These are 4,000. These are 8,000. That one fits in perfectly right there. And I can use that one for animal products, just so we can get a good storage of animal products here right next to the factory. And then flour, I don't think it's too big of a necessity to store over here, just because we have the flour mill right next to it right here. And then animal products will be the same sort of scenario once we build, the cattle shed, which is also polluting. So we're going to place it over here. Despite it being more of a farmyard sort of build, I need to place it over here just so we don't pollute the actual food. Now, pollution doesn't affect these buildings at all, but I just don't like the idea of it. It's not realistic to have something really polluting right next to your farms. That's just not how the real world works. But we've also got fishing industry here. I haven't actually used fishing for quite a while. What I want to be able to do eventually is use as many of these unique factories as possible. So that means we're going to need all of the industries to be used, because unique factories, again, can make so much money. So how close are we to level 3? We're still 55 workers out. How close are we to level 2 on this farm? Not farm, park. Very far away. This one is never going to get there wherever the park's gone. That's never going to get to it. So I might have to start working on our next sort of area, which means painting out our first sort of pedestrianized area. Now, right now, it won't be able to be fully pedestrianized to how I want it to be. We won't be able to unlock the wall-to-wall sort of sections, but this should be enough. And I do want this to be a separate zone so that I can use a different sort of shop. Because right now, this is using the generic sort of stores that come with the base game. And what I want to do is use the modern city centres. No, not the modern city centres. The one that came with shopping. I don't know what one it is. What one is it, actually? The shopping malls content creator pack. Just because, as I said, I want this to be a shopping area. And I think right now we'll make this a green cities area, self-sufficient buildings. And then I'll upgrade that to wall-to-wall once we unlock it at 7,500 population. Now, for the pedestrianised areas, we need to place down these service points to make sure that everything can go through properly. Now, these are more industrial buildings. So I think I don't want it to be on the main road, or anywhere near this roundabout, because they do take quite a lot of traffic in. So I think I might place it down here. And then I'm going to use, which path I'm going to use? I've got sandstone, bluestone, or cobblestone, I'm pretty sure. That's the cobblestone one. I'm going to actually just use the, what's it called? I'm going to take off the road guidelines. And I'm just going to use the cobblestone one, I think, or maybe bluestone. Let's use bluestone instead. Now, I do want to continue this road, actually. Do we have access to it yet? We don't. 4,800. Okay. We're going to place down a temporary entrance before we get to 4,800. That'll be the temporary one. And what I want to do is get some housing along here and also get in the shopping area. So what you want to do is I'm going to have housing go down to the front and then have shopping around this central area. Now, this will be redesigned in the next episode. I'm currently just using this just so that we can get some more money, get some more people in to supply this massive farm, because we're going to need to get well over 350 workers, and we do not have the population for that at all right now. So I'm just going to fit it all in as residential. And then next episode, we'll come back in with an actual plan, actual transport systems to build our transport hub once we complete this episode. So right now, all of this is going to be housing, get as many people in as possible without breaking that second tile. And I'm going to get up to a level 3 industrial area. So I've been waiting for about 15 minutes for us to level up on this farm, and we've got barely any workers. So it's become very apparent we do not have the workforce to feed the demands of this industry, which means I have bought the second tile so that we can finally expand our starting town of Willow, purely because of the fact that we need to get the population in as quickly as possible. And I'm going to bring this main road all the way out. Now, I'm not going to turn all of this into the starting area, just this side of the road. And I think over here can become some different sort of build later on. There's no natural resources around it, but maybe we can work in with Parklife again at a later date, or some other sort of build over here to make a little bit of difference. But we are going to expand our starting area, and that does also mean that we need to get a lot more shopping into this city. That is the main thing holding us back right now. There is very high commercial demand, and very little housing demand. So we need to get a lot more shops in. And obviously, I don't want to build them on this side of the street because that's where our park is coming in. So I am going to build them on the new main road that we have running through here, starting relatively close to the housing. Not too close, just to keep the noise a little bit more tame. But this is a new main road, so we are going to bring a lot more housing into this, and our housing demand has massively increased. And I did say in the last episode I wasn't going to build too close to the highway, but I think I'm going to. I think right now this highway isn't too bad, and when we do eventually unlock them, which we haven't quite yet, we're still just shy of 2,000 away from this. I'm going to upgrade these to have soundproofing on them, and then also place loads of trees down to reduce that noise, because I have a feeling that once we start building the main city off over here, this highway is going to get very loud very quickly. And that is one thing I do have to make sure that I tackle. And we are also going to bring in, because my eventual plan is to turn that sort of fort area into a nature reserve. So I might have to cut down on the size of this road, because we are going to bring in an interchange that goes off to feed this nature reserve once we have built it. But for now, we have got, as you can see, our stores coming in. And for some reason, we do also have a consistent declining population, despite the fact that we have so much more housing coming in. So I really don't quite understand what is happening with this city right now. It is jumping from a massive positives to very low negatives, and it is getting very random and frankly very annoying. So what I'm going to do is focus on getting some more sort of housing along here up towards the railway, and we will eventually get a train station along here somewhere for this to be used as public transport. And it does, this train does pass through what will become our transport hub in the next episode. So that is absolutely perfect placement from the person who made this map. Don't know who made map pack 4, but I'm sure I'll probably research them or try to find out who made it so that I can link them in the description of the first video, everything like that, just so I can talk about the map packs and everything like that. So this should be a pretty good grid network. Well, not grid, but road network for our small little area. We'll be able to turn this into a small park again. So hopefully, if I get these filled in with housing, we should hopefully then have the population to get this up to level 3. As you can see, we're pretty close, only 16 away right now. So I've actually jumped right to level 4 for the farming area, purely because level 3 doesn't really have much to unlock, but level 4 has the largest building in the entire farming area, which is the slaughterhouse. And I've got to try and find a place to put this, because as you can see, this thing is absolutely massive. And I want it to be center place so it'd be actually sort of seen from the road. But I'm also thinking maybe this section here could be a pretty good place to put it, which means moving a lot of things around. And I want to move the milking parlour over to probably next to the cattle shed, but I can't because this road is in the way. So I'm going to move this over, hopefully. Okay, and clear out all that industry. I'm going to have to move this warehouse as well, which I can probably just do by... Does it fit in there? No, there's a flour... There, it does fit in there, but there's a flour mill in the way. So I moved the flour mill to the other side of the road, then move in this warehouse, and then I might be able to place down the slaughterhouse. Nope, that flour mill is still in the way. So I will move that temporarily to here, and then I can place down the slaughterhouse right there, and hopefully still keep some industrial units in here, because otherwise finances aren't going to look too good. So that should be fine like that. Clear out that side there. Now this video I feel is getting very long, so I'm going to jump straight into the detailing time lapse now. What we're going to do is just work around this entire farm, see if we can probe it up to level 5. I don't know if we will be able to because we might not have the population for that at all. But I will just detail around here, make it look as nice as possible. And then hopefully we'll have the entire farm completed. Going to stop the video right here. We have now finally reached the busy town milestone of 4,800 population. Now, in the detailing time lapse, there wasn't much detailing. It was more just pushing the farm to level 5, which I have finally done, meaning we do have access to these giant large crop fields. So we can create these like large sort of farming areas that I think look really cool. Now, this farm is making so much money. As you can see, we're at 150,000. And if I just show you the city statistics, this is how much money we have access to. You can very easily tell where the farm's profit started to come in. As you can see, around midway through 2028, the money started to go up, and then I spent loads building the slaughterhouse, everything like that. We went very low money at the start of the detailing time lapse, took out some loans, we got 80,000 from loans, and then the rest of it all comes from the farms. So take with that what you will. Industries DLC is insanely broken for the economy, but absolutely amazing. So next time we will be working over here in what is currently a small housing area, but I'm going to be turning this into our transport hub. We will also be expanding this suburb area, aiming to get to 7,500 population for the next video. Because what I'm planning to do for episode 4 or 5 is to build our starting university. But one thing I really want to work on is this little lake here. And I want to use the hotels and retreats DLC using these nature cabins, these rental cabins, to build a large nature reserve in this forest and lake here. But that is all for the next video. If you guys did enjoy this video, I know it was probably a bit of a mess, then make sure to like and subscribe. I am now making weekly videos. I'm committing myself to it. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on next week's video. And I have been Emerald Lord. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.